Hi there, everybody. Welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us. Well, as you can see, we're in a different spot for this week's show. We're at the Stanley Theater. Our guest is Lisa Wilsey, the executive director at the Stanley. You know, we always talk about the Stanley. Well, we're going to show you a little bit of the Stanley today, but before we do that, we're going to say hello.
Hello.
Good to see you again.
Nice to see you too.
Thank you, and thanks for having us in.
It's always a pleasure.
And it's nice for us to put some scenes behind some of the things we talk about. We're going to talk about some of the things that the Stanley has to offer in just a minute.
Yes.
But before we do that, let's talk a little bit about what's upcoming. I just saw a big group for November.
Yes, Sticks is coming. It is a fundraiser for both Valley Health Services and the Stanley Theater. It's presented by Excelis, Blue Cross Blue Shield, and New York State Tool Company. So it's going to be a great event. It's already sold very well. So if you haven't gotten your ticket yet, I'd recommend getting it soon.
Yeah, I asked this question a lot. In fact, Derek Clark's going to be on the show, I think in September, and I'll ask him the question too because it goes past a lot of people. They don't understand the difference between the Stanley and Broadway Theater League.
Oh, really?
And they see a Broadway Theater League bring in a full house for Jersey Boys, for example, and they assume that all that money goes to the Stanley, but that's not the case.
No, they're a renter, and we rent the space to them to come in and present their series or their one-offs. So it's a great situation. It's a long-standing relationship. They're a great tenant of ours, and you know we appreciate that they choose our theater to present their shows.
Speaking of money, what kind of shape? I remember, well, trying to think of when it was, but it doesn't seem like that many years ago. Things down here financially weren't the best. How about today?
Today they're solid. We're operating at an accelerated pace with revenue, and we're also dipping into new revenue generation, the streams of revenue generation. So we're seeing the needle move forward, and with that, we're able to be we're independent now, we're healthy, we're strong financially speaking, and with those dollars we're able to now work on certain repairs that have long gone amiss. So
you don't have to worry about just keeping the lights on now. You can do some creative things, such as what?
Well, creatively we're also, one of the things we're working on is some new assets to add to guest services. One of the things I'm most excited about is something we call curbside service. So if and when you buy a ticket, you request a special seat for requiring assistance, you will get a call a day or two in advance of the event to reconfirm your coming to the event, but also to coordinate your arrival under the marquee where one of our facilities staff will greet you and bring you into the theater. So this way, especially in rough weather months, the driver can go park the car freely and get you inside and have someone escort you. And the same thing will work upon exit as well.
When is that going to go into effect?
We are testing it for Woodstock. So we have a few people that have already requested special assistance, so it's going to be a great time to work through the kinks, and then come the season, it'll be just a service that's built in.
Now Woodstock is what?
Woodstock is going to be, it's Central New York All-Stars. It's over 35 local musicians coming to our stage to perform the very songs that were at Woodstock 50 years ago, and that is a co-presentation with Jerry Krause.
And Jerry Krause, of course, former executive director here at the Stanley. The date for that is what, Lisa? Do you know off the top of your head?
I think it's August 9th.
Okay, we'll check on that.
Thank you.
All right, we'll check.
Yes,
all right.
I think so.
The Stanley Theater has a long standing reputation for putting on local acts.
Yes.
And I'm trying to think, this was, and I can't, your mind went blank on that, my mind goes blank on this. It was a national tour that came through, but they brought in local group to start the show. I thought that was kind of a nice way to do it.
We love to do that when we can, especially because like locals want to see their friends and family on the stage, and it's a great opportunity for that local band to perform on the stage for a larger opening artist. Sometimes the traveling act can't do, we don't have that opportunity. The agent wants to put in place its own opener. So, when we're lucky, we do it, and we can't, we're still lucky because we're seeing new talent come to the area.
Yeah. The time that it takes to do all these things, did that surprise you? I mean, you're fairly new on the job. It takes time to get stuff moving the way you want, right?
Well, I'm lucky because the staff I inherited has so many ideas, and they're stepping out of the scope of their actual job to take on a special project of their own. So I'm really lucky that they have their job, but then they have a side passion project. So I'm almost getting a double staff at this point, and they're great. And really, so much has changed in the last few months. I'm just trying to get our business reorganized, our marketing reorganized, and really expanding how the venue is marketed instead of just to the local area and the county. I've actually restructured it, so now we're actually marketing the venue at a national level. So you'll see with our programming that we announced last week, there is a variety of artists that we worked with companies outside of the area, whether it's Ithaca, Rochester, all as far away as Chicago, Nashville, North Carolina. So we're getting the venue out more, which is important.
Is there somebody out there you're trying to get right now as we speak?
Oh, all the time,
Yeah.
all the time. And actually, we have a lot of fans of the theater email me once in a while, every couple weeks, like 5 or 6 ideas, and we literally go through each of them to see what would they sell here, how would the ticket price, can we even get them, are we on their route? Sometimes you find that sweet spot like we did with Lettuce. They're coming at the end of the year. And that's a jazz funk jam band. So many different people were hitting us with the same idea at the same time, and lo and behold, it worked. So they're coming.
Yeah.
It's great.
The Jerry Krause told me this once, and I was amazed by it. I asked him who was the biggest draw or one of the biggest draws, and he said somebody that you've got coming in here in not too distant future, Caputo.
Teresa Caputo.
Teresa Caputo.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, the Long Island medium.
Yeah.
This will be her 3rd visit to the Stanley.
She sells out here.
Who does she?
Yeah.
Everyone's excited.
Yeah.
I've had people as in their early 20s up to their late 60s calling in to get tickets.
Yeah.
So she crosses a lot of different generations. So I'm excited to see her here.
Good. When we come back, let's talk a little bit about the building and
Sure,
things that are going on in
absolutely.
the building. Lisa Wilsey is our guest. She's the executive director of the Stanley Theater. And there's lots of enthusiasm, not just with Lisa, but the entire community about the Stanley. Short break, right back.